When did a teacher cross the line so badly you had no choice but to make sure she never forgot it? I was in 11th grade, and for the most part, school was just school, boring, stressful, and tolerable. But nothing could have prepared me for Mrs. Langford, our AP English teacher who thought humiliation was a form of motivation. She didn't yell, she didn't throw tantrums, she just had this razor-sharp sarcasm that could slice through your self-esteem without raising her voice once. My first encounter with her wrath was over a poetry assignment. I had poured my heart into a poem about my dad, who left when I was 8. It was raw, honest, vulnerable. When I handed it in, she didn't even look at me. A week later, in front of the whole class, she held it up and said, "Some people mistake trauma dumping for literature. This is what not to do if you want a passing grade." The class laughed. I sat there frozen. She didn't name me, but my name was at the top of the paper in bold letters. I wanted to sink into the floor. After class, she patted me on the shoulder and whispered, "Maybe leave the personal tragedies at home next time. We're trying to produce scholars, not sob stories." I cried in the bathroom for an hour, but that wasn't the end of it. She made a habit out of picking on me, my handwriting, my voice when reading aloud, even my clothes. "We're presenting essays, not modeling for clearance racks," she said once when I wore my older cousin's too large blazer for a speech. I started avoiding participation. I stopped volunteering to read. I even skipped class a few times just to protect my own mental peace. But even from a distance, she found ways to belittle me in subtle jabs and public comments. The worst part? I was a good student. Straight A's. I even made it to the regional finals in debate club. But none of that mattered to Mrs. Langford. In her eyes, I was always 2 steps behind. Then came senior year. Graduation was approaching. College acceptance letters rolled in, and to my shock, I got accepted into Columbia University with a partial scholarship. I was stunned, overwhelmed, and proud. Mrs. Langford, however, wasn't impressed. "Oh," she said, eyebrows raised. "Columbia? Did they run out of qualified applicants?" That day, I made a promise to myself. She was going to remember my name. Graduation arrived, and every senior had to submit a thank you message for the event slideshow, just one teacher or mentor we wanted to thank publicly. I submitted mine like everyone else, but I also sent an additional one, marked as a special request. On stage, when my name was called, they read the first message. "Thank you to Mr. Gonzalez for believing in me when I couldn't believe in myself." Then the lights dimmed, the projector changed, and my special request slid onto the big screen in front of hundreds of parents, students, and teachers. It read, "And to Mrs. Langford, thank you for reminding me exactly who I never want to become: cold, cruel, and incapable of recognizing potential. Every insult you threw at me became fuel. You didn't break me. You built the fire that got me into Columbia." The auditorium gasped. Some people even clapped. I stood proudly as Mrs. Langford, who was seated 2 rows behind me, dropped her eyes and stared at the floor. After the ceremony, she didn't come up to me, but Mr. Gonzalez did. He whispered, "You said what half this school has wanted to say for years." A week later, I heard through the grapevine she had requested a leave of absence. Maybe it was burnout, maybe she needed to reflect, or maybe, just maybe, she finally saw the mirror she'd spent years avoiding. I thought maybe someone would tell me I went too far, but instead I got emails from students who had been hurt in silence, kids she embarrassed for stuttering, for asking dumb questions, or for just existing outside her perfect little box. All I know is this: that moment didn't erase the pain, but it gave power to the version of me she tried so hard to silence. I graduated that day not just from school, but from her shadow. And that message, it wasn't revenge. It was a reminder that the quiet kids, the ones who cry in the bathroom and eat lunch alone, sometimes they grow up and make the world listen.